And we're a little tiny bit late, but not too late. Dee, we're getting a massive amount of feedback from you somehow. If you could mute yourself, that would be good. I don't know why that happens sometimes. I'm going to mute myself now and go for it.
What's going on, everybody? This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Ta-da! You have to be 21 and over to be here. If not, you have to leave. Back to you, Freemanoro.
That's the way. You can tell we have a really high show special effects and audio effects and everything else budget from the super high fidelity that you get on this show, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone just nod and smile. We all know it's done with mid 50s tube amps. I have a whole staff running a whole room of tube amps, lots of tubes, lots of tubes, a whole series of tubes, you might say. Welcome, Bud Kilowatt. He's giving us the green light. Cheers, Cranmore Grows. He's saying cheers all. Welcome, folks. Join the show, my friends. Welcome and say hello. I'm jumbling my freaking language. Join the show, folks, by saying hello in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. If you guys are regulars, obviously, we of course would love to hear from you. If you are longtime listeners, no say hellos, whatever, we'd love to say hello to you. If you folks haven't said hello for a while, if you've been listening in the background, working in the garden, blah, 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 there's plenty of folks who do that. We'd love to say hello to you again. So feel free to check on in, folks, and just let us know how you're doing. There's plenty of names that have come and gone through these shows, so I always wonder if some of the folks are listening, if they've checked out entirely. People come and go from hobbies and interests and stuff. So anyway, folks, feel free to say hello in the chat. And of course, as always, the show is an open conversational forum at the moment, so please do remember it's basically kind of a virtual cannabis pub, I guess, and you're welcome. You're honestly welcome to pull up a chair and have a little bit of a puff or a couple of dabs or a joint or whatever you'd like to imbibe with. I don't know if you like to fucking eat it. That's fine with me. That's what, of course, your mama said. But the most important thing is that you come by and sit by and join the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you don't even have to imbibe. Honestly, that could be the way that you imbibe is by not imbibing. So honestly, very meta right there, right? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing is that you are welcome to join the conversation. Most important is simply don't be a dick. Don't show your dick. Don't be a lunatic. And that's about it. Honestly, I could probably find something that rhymes with that. But honestly, those are the main criteria. Don't be a dick. Don't show your dick. Don't be a lunatic. Simple, fucking easy peasy. Don't bullshit is basically the sort of unwritten first commandment or whatever, I guess. There you go. No dicks. I guess no dicks is really the first commandment, and honestly, the number one is quite phallic, so maybe that makes sense being the first commandment. But in the meantime, seriously, don't bullshit. We don't really need to hear nonsense from you. It's pretty easy to parse through. I think people don't realize how simple it is to kind of parse through lies, especially if you, whatever, it's not worth going into, but liars are usually not as good at lying as they think they are. So, folks, please just don't bother. Just tell us the real story. The real story is plenty interesting, I'm sure. If you caught an 8-inch fish, it's plenty interesting. You don't have to tell us it was a 24-inch fucking Goliath of a goddamn. It was actually Thulu itself. No, just tell us about the fucking 8-inch trout you had. I'm sure it was a great day out. I'm sure it was a great trip. Obviously, that's a metaphor. If you did literally catch a fish, by all means, tell us about it. But the metaphor essentially is don't lie about the size of fish you caught. There's no reason to, honestly. We're all basically goofing off here anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the show is, of course, as Dee said, for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nobody take this shit seriously. Of course, we certainly don't. Cheers, Hardcore. Welcome to the show. Cheers. In the chat. Dee is one of the main moderators in the chat. Hardcore, of course, as you can see, is also a moderator that could post a link. So, folks, if you guys would like to join the panel conversation, all you have to do is ask nicely. Don't have to grovel or beg or bribe anybody. You certainly could throw out bribes. It couldn't hurt, obviously, but it's probably not going to help you, honestly, because we'll probably just still give you the link. But still, honestly, if you'd like to bribe us, I would be perfectly happy to accept. We'll call it a gift, honestly. We'll just, what, the gold? I don't know. Fine jewels, antiques, paintings, fine paintings, Picasso's. I'd love
Cold
some.
hard cash works.
I mean, sure, sure.
Cold
Coupons to IHOP. I mean, it's all on the table. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is ask nicely, and one of the blue names can post the link. The gray names can post the link, but it won't be able to be a clickable link. So, ladies and gentlemen, the only people, unfortunately, who can pin the links or post links rather are blue names. Here comes Hardcore himself. Uh, Germs, just like Hardcore, join us for the high noon. We're only going to be here for well, just about an hour or more, honestly. So, folks, the show is over in a freaking split. There's Hardcore himself checking in with the condition. Southern Vermont Vintage is in the house, and now I'll pass it off to the panel. What's going on, D? Welcome.
What's going on, chat? What's going on, panel? You can find me on YouTube where I do live shows. DZombie_745. There it is. I was waiting for that, Fumi. Hope everyone's having a great day. I'm not smoking on much today. Right now, I got this. That's about it for now. I hope everyone's having a great day. Cheers.
Sure, D. What's going on, Hardcore? Are you wandering the rubble of a lost civilization, or is that a new house that you're building?
It's a 100-year-old garage that I'm remodeling.
Oh, that's cool. What's it going to be? Another garage or like a live-in?
It used to have like sliding doors, a rolling door on a track, doors on a rolling track. But I took them, and it's all cedar too. They're like, I got a lot of really badass wood out of this place. Used to have a big fucking vaulted ceiling, but we just put trusses in. But I'm gonna go up there and sweep the snow off and go walk up there to do a couple of things. So that should be fun.
D is asking, is it going to be a garage inside of a garage? And then a little garage inside that garage.
Yeah.
The garage was all the way down.
I was gonna say all the way down.
Like, what are they? The Russian dolls.
That's it. Russian
nesting doll.
garages.
Nesting dolls. That's it.
Look at this fucking light right here. Wouldn't this be?
And in the smallest garage, there's a Tonka car.
I think this was an 8-foot long fucking E5.
Huh.
Thing is huge.
I wonder if you can even still get those long ones.
That's what she said.
Nice.
I
It's
think
weird.
I don't know.
Honestly
They're
hard
fat
to
as
get a
hell,
lot of
whatever they are.
different. Oh, what's that? Hardcore? Go ahead.
They're fat as hell, whatever they are.
Huh.
You get
Oh,
again.
the old fluorescence, yeah, for sure. What was I going to say? I remember like there was like this industrial one that was even way bigger than that. It was, oh my God, it was like an inch or 2 inches around. Fuck, it was enormous. Can't imagine the amount of power that went through those things. They were a pain in the ass too when they would break. Like the glass would get everywhere, and I guess they were filled with mercury, so you're supposed to leave the room for a while. And oh my goodness, I'm honestly glad they're gone.
I used to work in a mall where like maintenance mall. So we constantly changed fluorescent lights.
Huh.
And I'd be in charge of getting rid of them. So I put like about 20, 30 at a time in a trash compactor. You let it go and all you're boom.
Nice little. Oh, that was probably a fun sound, but that was a nice little cloud of mercury expanding from that dumpster, I'm sure. Here's some poison for you, world.
Get out the poison.
It's crazy the amount of dog shit we dumped all over the world. It's kind of sick. Fuck, what was I gonna say? We don't have to spotlight Hardcore this entire. Fuck, was I gonna say? About light bulbs. Just how difficult it is to get light bulbs anymore. I remember all the people being fanatical about incandescent light bulbs, and I just kind of shook my head for a while. Like I understood it for aesthetic purposes. For example, if you're a Hollywood scene designer or whatever, there's plenty of reasons why you would actually want either that specific light, or you would want, for example, the effect, a person in front of a mirror, blah, blah, blah. The new LED light bulbs and stuff don't look the same, right? They don't have the filament inside. So if you wanted a period piece, you'd want the period light bulbs, basically, right? So anyway, that is understandable. But then it like became political with the fucking whole light bulb thing. And I just shook my head because I was like, first the CFLs and then the LEDs came along. I was like, while you're trying to die on this hill of incandescent light bulbs that you have to change every 3 weeks, I remember with my CFLs in my old apartment years ago, I replaced them in like 2002 or 2003, and then I never had to replace the bulbs again until we moved, and our electrical bill literally dropped just from the fucking light bulbs. I mean, granted, I spent like $200 on light bulbs one month, but this is in like 2002, right, or 2003. But our electrical bill dropped by like 2/3. It was comical. Like that was one of the biggest expenses in the fucking house, was just literally light bulbs. Anyway, and when LED bulbs came along, it dropped even further. So like you can basically leave all your LED bulbs on the house, and pretty much all. Okay, I don't know how many LEDs you'd have in your house. You might have fucking Bill Gates' house or something. But if you had a normal size house with, I don't know, half a dozen LED bulbs on at any given time around the house, you can leave them on. You basically leave them on because it's literally a couple dollars of electricity per year at that point with LEDs. And still people are trying to die on the hill of fucking incandescents. But anyway, I digress. It's hard for like grow for specialty lights, like that's been uh, uh somehow swept up basically. And I don't know, I guess it's probably not just political, because it's probably also the dying technology, honestly. For example, I guess what I'm literally talking about is like HPS lights and HPS bulbs are getting hard to find. So for example, you can't really get very many HPS fixtures at all in grow stores anymore. Of course, grow stores are endangered, but even when you can find a grow store, many times they only sell LED fixtures anymore. And some of those LED fixtures are from off brands that I'm not familiar with. So like I just kind of pass them by anyway. So it's like, wait, where was the Sun Systems or the da 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 da? No, they're gone, they're gone, they're gone. Like just one after another. You'll ask them about different brands, and they still have some stuff. I get what Lux lighting or whatever, but Kilowatt's always talking about Lux. I just saw some Lux HPS lights at a grocery store just the other day. Anyway, it's harder than hell to find different brands of CFLs, or what am I trying to say, CMH bulbs anymore. Pretty much for years I tried to find the new Hortilux, but now Hortilux is out of business. Of course, it's even harder to find them. But for a while I was trying to find the Hortilux bulbs because the Hortilux people were talking about how wonderful they were. And Hortilux has been a pretty trusted name for so long. So I was trying to find these fucking bulbs. Nobody sold the fucking bulbs. One by one by one by one, people have discontinued all these different, essentially these old technologies. And it's kind of funny to see that we're basically, I don't know, the horse buggy people or something when we go out looking for, hey, can I have a HPS, blah blah blah. It's like you're basically asking for a fucking horse bridle or some shit. It's kind of comical. You're at an electrical, you're in an EV vehicle dealership, and you're asking for a horse bridle. Basically, it's at least what it seems like. But it's kind of comical because, to talk to half the people in the chat, there's a lot of people who would still insist that there's a place for CMH lights, HPS lights, and so on. Even in an efficient LED grow, there's still places for some of those lights. And yet, go figure, you can't even find the fucking bulbs anymore. Go figure, go ahead, and God help you to get any service. So for example, I have speaking of which, a Sun Systems CMH actually that I wanted to start using again, because it's a wonderful veg light. Basically, would make a perfectly good flower light too, but I always used it for veg. Nobody will service it. I will probably have to either just throw it away or get someone like a specialty service, or just honestly Google how to fix it, because essentially there's like Sun Systems won't service it. They don't even bother. They're just like, they don't even return the phone call. I'm not even sure if they're still in business, actually, to be perfectly frank. It's so comical. Anyway, it's annoying, but it's also comical. Here comes Bud. Cheers, Jones.
Cheers.
Oh, good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the chat. He says, I'm late again. What if you're just on time? Shit. What have you meant to be here at 12:23? Come on, sliding in.
That's what she said.
That's it. Nice. Joseph Anthony house. Welcome. Cheers, buddy. Joseph Anthony says, I remember having to take a potato seed to get the broken bulb out when I did maintenance. Yeah, I've done that before. Risky business.
Just a quick heads up too, guys. They got those light bulbs. They're not new now, but they got just a regular like light bulb that screws into a lamp. It looks like, actually I call it like the little swirly turds. They're supposed to be fluorescent. Just a heads up, bleh. I've heard they're cancer causing, so I wouldn't use those kind of bulbs just for like your
Swirly
regular
LEDs? What do you mean?
They look like they're a light bulb that just plug into your regular lamp or whatever, but they look like they go swirly, like go around and around kind of. They're only about like this big.
So why are they cancer causing? A material in them? Or
I
what?
I guess what's inside them and the fluorescence they give off. I'm not exactly
It's
sure,
not going to be the
but
light they
that's
give off, but it's something inside them, maybe.
maybe. But I'm just passing that along. I don't
Okay.
use them. I tell everybody not
Yes,
to use them.
perhaps they
They're
somehow
garbage.
what's the word I'm looking for? UV. If they really weird for them to release UV, but I guess it's possible. What's up, bud?
Mercury. That's what it is. Mercury.
Having a
From
good day. You mentioned Hortolux, like I needed to replace my double endeds. I guess it was last cycle. And yeah, it was like a shock to me because over the years I used a lot of different bulbs, but ultimately Hortolux was by far the best fucking bulb. Like the results were clear. And yeah, they fucking don't exist anymore. They still do single ended are available, but no double endeds. There's some people that have a few online that they're like charging these ridiculous price for, but yeah, that's how I know the end of the era of Portalux fucking somehow developed that bulb and had good market share and just fucking eliminated it.
Freeze.
It's interesting. Times change, you know.
Yeah, times change. And yeah, I don't know. I have enough extras, but yeah, HPS, but those are still around. Most of the time, I wouldn't go buy one because, like, holy shit, people can't give those things away. When I shut down my other place, I tried to put them into other people's hands. No, I fucking basically threw 30 lights in the dumpster. Like nobody wanted anything to do with them. I was like, all right, well, whatever.
Look at the crap. Did you guys see the crap hardcore was just walking on? That white crap?
Mhm.
What a bunch of crap.
Oh, you mean that shit? The frozen state of water?
Yeah. Frozen water.
That
Oh,
guy
here you
did
go,
bullshit,
Herbie.
frozen state of water. Fuck that shit. He's only a fan of the gaseous state of water, and occasionally the liquid state of water, but when it's completely filled with coffee.
Exactly.
Here you go, buddy.
I used to know this old timer. He was crazy as a fucking loon. I probably told stories about. He's a neighbor when I was a kid. A real crusty old timer. He'd been basically apparently in every single bloody landing in the Pacific. I mean, that's probably not literally true, but effectively, I guess it was true. Plenty, enough, enough bloody landings in the Pacific. I can't remember if he was a Marine. I think he was a Marine. Anyway, regardless, shithouse crazy. I mean, just shithouse fucking crazy. He wore gloves all the time. I mean, in real life, I'm kind of making fun of a guy who probably was mentally ill. That was probably something to do with his trauma and everything else. But it was really interesting to see winter gloves all through the year. Didn't have anything wrong with his hands. Like I saw his hands, like they were perfectly fine. But he just wore these winter gloves all year round. And most sort of saliently for the story, drank either 6 or 8 or I don't remember, a crazy amount of pots of black coffee a day. That was the only liquid he would consume was black coffee, strong black coffee. And when you would ask him, he would say that he was afraid that water would rust his pipes. And he wasn't joking around. He wasn't, by the way, he wasn't slow. He wasn't stupid or anything. He was convinced that water would rust his internal mechanisms and coffee wouldn't. I guess maybe
Well,
coffee is
I
acidic,
can
so
tell
maybe
you,
there's some
I
logic to
drink
that, but
like 99% coffee, but there's a thing where I have to consume X amount of water per day. Or yeah, yeah, coffee isn't water. And that's been the hardest thing because it is water, but it's not water. Like for the longest time, I'm like, well, I don't need water. I fucking drink coffee all day. What is it? Water with some fucking coffee in it. But no,
Yeah.
but caffeine dehydrates you. So it's
yeah, like
basically
somehow it
water that
dehydrates.
doesn't hydrate you.
And some days there's like not really a headache. There's a thing I know, right? My body says, oh, fuck, you haven't had water. And yeah, sometimes I have to not really force myself, just remind myself to consume at least that amount of water per day. I don't do pots. I used to because I wasted it, but I don't know how many mugs, like 8 to 12. Like, yeah, like with everything. Like if I make a meal, then I make coffee to drink with it. It's yeah, I pretty much don't do it. Yeah, I sometimes drink something else, but rarely. I'm fueled on coffee. And
Very
I'm fully addicted to it because one of the reasons there's no peeling off of that. Oh yeah, there's like a frontal lobe. There's a whole thing that happens when you consume coffee every day for so long. A lot of it, yeah, you're addicted to that shit, dude.
For your cream.
It's also not very good for you. The human body's only well, like I guess the human body's all different
Well,
sizes.
there's like some people say it's a
Down people.
superfood. Some people actually say yeah, there's mixed things I've heard, but I believe it's good. Cause like, yeah, I think coffee fucking like that for the longest time. And I don't ever go to the doctor. I have no fucking thing wrong with me. And I don't practice any healthy things. And I think it's
All
weed and
because of
coffee
coffee.
that's like my magic.
I mean, the
Now,
funny thing is that coffee is a massive antioxidant. So between if you eat a lot of blueberries and drink coffee, you're getting quite a bit of antioxidants.
yeah.
Maybe that's helping you.
And considering like I like soda and all, but like and I still drink a little bit, but like, yeah, I drink a soda and like it's good and all, but oh, you feel like, oh yeah, that shit's bad.
Mm.
Coffee, I never feel.
Uh-oh.
And
Hey, are you
some
allowed
people
to be
trip out because some of my friends like, dude, if I have a cup of coffee past like whatever time, I can't sleep. I literally will have like a fresh cup of coffee at whatever time in the night or whatever, and 15 minutes later, lay down, and go to sleep. But
Mm.
it's not like that.
You know what was a real mind blower for me? I don't remember who told me this, but years ago, I was talking to a friend about root beer floats. I think we were literally talking about root beer floats, and my friend I think was diabetic, and so I guess that's why it came up. The ice cream in the root beer float is the least sugary part of the root beer float. Like
Yeah,
you think to
soda's
yourself in your brain, you're like, "Oh, I'm adding ice cream to a root beer float. That's just so excessive. I'm like adding this crazy sweet thing." But actually, the ice cream is less sweet than the fucking root beer is.
yeah. Well, it was years ago. I saw a thing of whatever that they like showed in a measuring cup or whatever. It was actually a beaker. How much sugar is in one soda? And I
Mm.
remember seeing that and going, how could you fit that much sugar
I
into
know.
that? Like
Seriously.
it's astronomical.
Making sense,
Like
yeah.
how much sugar is in one soda. It's like, holy
Yeah.
shit. Like you could probably make it with less sugar to be kind of all right. Like, God, do you need that much sugar and fucking whatever
I've
ounces of
made
fucking
I mean, I'm sure most people probably know the brand SodaStream. So I used to have one. Go figure, I guess I don't have mine anymore. But I used to make the cola like either even not sweet or sometimes a quarter sweet, and I quite enjoyed it. And actually, a lot of my friends that would come over and get a drink or something, they quite liked it too. It was kind of funny that the whole soda industry just insists on having soda so fucking cloyingly sweet.
I mean, I grew up on soda, but there's been a lot of years. Oh, if I go out for pizza, oh, I'm having Coke with pizza. And if
Mm.
I go to burger fry thing, oh, a soda, it's like, oh no, coffee doesn't go with that. And that's like yeah, it's not even a thought. Like that pizza, soda, burger, fries, soda.
Uh,
But I also realized I was like raised in the 60s when like they just poured sugar down us. That was like there was no
Oh, what
messaging
since then is
of that. And like we were the sugar uh kids. Like it was insane. The cereal, the Pop Tart, like you just
Oh, it's
wound us
worse
up on
now.
sugar.
No, it's definitely worse now. Whatever you think back then, some folks still ate whole foods. Same thing when I was a kid. Like people still had this discussion about eating whole foods and whether or not kids eat too much sugar or too much breakfast cereal. You know, people say, "Oh, you should have fresh eggs every week." Like there was the whole discussion. Now kids just eat trash. They just eat like just all sugar
Well,
processed
and
foods.
then
Like every single
my
kid
friends
that I've met in the
are
last like
parents,
6 months,
and they're
oh my
the
God, it's just all
opposite,
garbage.
where they've like tried to instill in their kids some of that, which is good because yeah, knowledge is like, yeah. I mean, some of it's key to life is moderation. Some of it's like, oh, don't ever, but like I don't think yeah, the cups are still pretty big, but I remember when the big gulp came out and I friends with
Hmm.
fucking big gulp, and then get it refilled. And I was like, I could never drink that much soda. Like there
Yeah,
was
what was it? There
a
was a
few years
64
where,
ounce big gulp, and it's a half gallon big gulp. That's fucking nuts.
well, I buy sodas from my fridge, both of them.
How much
I
sugar is it?
like those mini cans. Okay. Now the mini cans usually sell for $3.99 a six pack.
Yeah.
And then a couple times the stores had a 12 pack of the regular cans for $4.99. So $1 more. And no, I like the little cans because a big can is too much soda. I'll drink that much, but I come to realize that little can is just the right amount that it
Yeah.
like uh fills my desire without like going, oh, drink a bunch of soda. And I really like those. So it's like, yeah, like it doesn't make sense to buy 6 of these small ones when you get 12 of
So,
the ones for $1 more. But
Right.
yeah, those big ones I don't like.
folks, in the chat, take a wild guess. Just guess numbers, basically. Should I tell them one through something or just give them numbers? Okay, just guess numbers of grams. So a 64 ounce big gulp typically contains around X number of grams of sugar, which is equivalent to roughly X
Oh, wow.
teaspoons of sugar. So I guess we can't really guess both. I suppose we could guess both if you want to in the chat. You can say how many grams, which equates to how many teaspoons. You could totally guess both if you want. Just to guess. First guess is grams. Second guess is teaspoons. But the first question, just to make it easy, is how many grams do you think are in a 64 ounce big gulp? So
Well,
64
I mean,
ounces
but isn't the
is a
reality?
half gallon for anyone who's not from the US. But wait, if they were not from the US, they wouldn't be following Imperial. Okay, so never mind. How much is 64 ounces? So it's a half gallon. So it's probably around 2 liters, right? Because I think a gallon is 4.2 liters, something like that. So roughly 2 liters, we'll call it. Or 4.3 liters. I always forget, honestly.
Well,
Uh,
isn't it true though that all the American sodas are corn syrup? There's no sugar in it. They don't use sugar.
uh,
Like that's what makes the Mexican Coast good.
Probably
They
true.
use,
Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably even,
and I
yeah,
don't know what the
arguably even worse.
equivalent is, but I'm sure that shit comes in a syrup thing that's like even more concentrated than fucking sugar.
Small Tubes guesses 89. Joseph Anthony guesses 36 grams. Jones N2 Grow guesses 540 grams. We'll give it a couple more guesses. I can say
Well,
Jones
we're in
N2
a
Grow is
winter
too high,
wonderland.
thankfully.
I never see snow. That's just cool. Like snow. It reminds me of the holidays, but I don't. I used to
Winter,
younger go up to the ski places sometimes, but God, it's been like so many years I haven't seen any snow.
Oh, he's fucking cheating. Yeah,
winter
he's gonna show it.
sucks.
Grandma
No
Rose gets
sucks.
150. Although that's 12 ounces instead of a 60. Well, I guess you could still just fucking multiply by 4. Grandma Grows gives 150. I'll give one more guess, and then I'll tell you. It's comical. It's just comical, honestly, the amount. Because I've seen people drink the 64 ounce big gulp.
Well, there was like it's less of a thing now, but there was like an era where they fucking big gulps like fucking people like multiples of those. Like
800 grams. 91 grams. A 64 ounce
Wow.
big gulp typically contains around 91 grams of sugar. Remember, gentlemen, we're all wheat growers here. We can visualize how much grams weigh, right? Go find an ounce that you've basically weighed out, what, 28 grams or something. Smash was laughing about this the other day because I couldn't remember how much an ounce weighs. What is it, like 28 grams, something like that? So go look at an ounce jar. You know, I always talk about how I basically have like ounce and a half jars, something like that, because I usually fit, I guess it depends on the weed, but between 28 and 40 grams, I guess, like a cookies cut, I might be able to fit like 40 grams in one of these. So imagine 2 fucking full jars of weed full of sugar in a 64 ounce big gulp.
well, I mean, I don't anymore, but I
32
used to
teaspoons, by the
make
way.
my coffee with half and half and sugar, and I had a bowl and a spoon. And okay, I don't know the measurement of a mug. Yeah, like 2 or whatever. Like if you go over, it fucking ruins the coffee. Could you imagine somehow cramming that much into a cup of coffee? Like, yeah,
Amazingly, only 352 calories.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, it was when I saw that thing that was one of the things that Why don't really? I mean, I have it once in a while, but I don't drink soda for the most part because that's crazy. That's too much
Yeah,
sugar.
small tubes was the closest.
The only thing besides coffee, if I drink a pop, it'll be like 7 Up or Sprite.
Well, I like the one called Squirt or something. It's like grapefruit soda. That's the one I
Hmm.
like. I think it's called Squirt. I don't drink
Oh,
brown
I remember
soda.
Squirt.
Yeah, I like
Enter
that
the
one.
funny joke here, folks.
But there's no caffeine in it or something, whatever. But I don't drink soda for caffeine anyway. But yeah, it's refreshing and I like it. I don't. Coke is like too syrupy and
Or
no, I've seen other things where they fucking use Coke and it's like will strip paint off of a fucking thing. Enamel
It's
baked
just
on
acidic.
paint.
That's all. It's acidic. I mean, that's kind of cheating because any soft drinks are usually acidic. That kind of helps with the mouthfeel and the flavor and stuff. It's a real trick that basically restaurants, chefs, and stuff play. They add a little bit of acidic things, lemon juice, whatever,
Yeah.
to finish a dish. It basically
But
makes
it's
this.
like not a little acidic. It's fucking the solvent that's acidic. Like you can
So
strip
is so
shit.
is lemon
You
juice.
can
You
put
know, so is
soda and put a bunch of nuts and
orange
bolts in it.
juice is
It'll
acidic.
strip all shit out.
Oh, orange juice would fucking strip rust off of
Oh no, the orange juice is
orange
gnarly.
juice
You
would
got to
probably
watch
strip
that shit.
galvanized the zinc off a galvanized nail. So, you know,
ketchup. Ketchup will
ketchup
take
is acidic as fuck, 100%. That'll
ket,
etch through stuff. Yeah.
ketchup will you take a piece
Your
of old
stomach is more
copper.
acidic than that. I mean, your
Oh
stomach will just dissolve through all kinds of
yeah,
fucking.
You take a piece of old copper that's been like has crap on it. You take some ketchup and you rub it on. You leave it on there for a minute. Take a rag, comes out like a brand
Polished.
new
Yeah.
polish. Yeah, so acidic.
Cheers, Noof.
Nuclei, Lee in the house. How'd you getting on, new flea? I'm all right, bye.
Mhm.
all right. What do I got?
I wonder how cold it is where hardcore is without him saying. I'm guessing it's not that cold. Like it's not below zero, but I'm thinking it's like what, 20? What do you guys think?
Too cold for me. Anything with snow.
Uh,
Cold.
yeah, it's probably not as cold as it's gonna get because he lives in a place that sometimes will get like minus 40 and shit,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's crazy.
which to me is not even comprehensible. Fuck.
Yeah,
I remember
God.
like going up to the mountains and the shit was like just under 30 and I thought it was fucking my
Mhm.
bones were gonna break with the jacket and all that shit. Fuck that. Cold
Yep.
hurts.
Mhm.
Now, other people acclimated to it, but
Not me.
I call myself a fair weather friend. That's what happens when you
Mhm.
grow up and pretty much live in Southern California your whole life.
Mhm.
Like, I guess it gets in the 50s at night, mainly low 60s, and maybe in the middle of the morning, early morning, it goes under. And knowing all these guys on here that live in some other places that have have real weather, like I think it's freezing outside when it's that cold. But like in their thing, they're probably wearing shorts during that time.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I have a fucking hoodie. I put my thing on. Like, fucking, I'm a wimp when it comes to weather because I like usually live in this band of perfect weather.
Mhm. Yeah, people don't realize where Bud lives, it's like the Riviera.
I
It's like, well, it's probably 70 something outside, like usual. Right.
wish it was
Like,
probably 70s here.
yeah, my town on the sign, like as it's, oh, avocado cap, all that shit, it says 70-degree annual average, which came out of like Farmers Market, whatever. And there's a map that shows like colored dots. There's only like these few dots in the world that can claim a 70-degree annual average. So, okay, it does get hotter, it's colder, but oh, the annual average is 70 degrees.
Ugh. You can have it, Jeff. We don't want it. Jeff said Colorado got some snow last night.
Hmm.
No, thank you.
Yeah, he's like, you can keep it.
Yes, sir.
He's like, Canada sends her regards.
Well,
Oh
snow
man, there
looks
was a
like,
story. There was a
there's like, to me, that looks really cool, right? Like, because I never see snow. Snow seems cool. He's working, right? He's trying to shovel it out for you as a path and fucking all this shit that fucking is a lot of work.
Southern Vermont vintage is saying they're supposed to get about a foot tomorrow. Crazy. Probably 16 inches. Holy cow.
Wow. See, that's when I want my. There's this thing I want to get from Amazon. It's like a blowtorch kind of deal. Is you can also use it for. They used to do burn control for grass. You can kind of use it for that as well. But I use it more for the. They can use it for snow. You can just go with propane and melt all the snow away. That's what I'm talking about. No shoveling.
Well, I mean, isn't it like the warning where you don't want to buy used cars from certain states and stuff is because they put all this salt on the road and it rots the bottom of the car?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, one of the biggest reasons I to this day I'm astonished. I sold my dad's old ass, practically junker Volvo station wagon for great money, like 15 or $1,700 cash to this Norwegian guy that was perfectly happy to pay cash for it because honestly it was a steal for him apparently. He shipped the fucking thing along with several other Volvos. He and his partner, his business partners in America, but anyway, I guess they're just longtime friends. That's the kind of coincidence there. Anyway, he's this Norwegian mechanic, I guess. This is, of course, many years ago now. But anyway, he is a mechanic by trade. And then during the winter, I guess wherever he lives in Norway, I can't remember if it's on a fucking fjord or an island or whatever, but it's very isolated in the wintertime. And so in the wintertime, he just kind of does his own thing. And his own thing is remodeling classic Volvos because back there, kind of like for us, Mustangs and shit, and I don't even fucking goats and whatever is what we, everybody basically dreams of remodeling. For them, they remodel old Volvo station wagons, and he basically sells the fucking things for
But
apparently
isn't like a Volvo, like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like the
average one will
240s and
get
all
like
those. Like
300,000
seriously,
miles easy on its motor and all this shit? Like they build cars that they might not be, I don't know, they're square, they're kind of weird, but oh, they fucking run forever and they're safe as fuck.
yeah, he basically bought it because it was from California, so never had any salt on it. Never got. I mean, there's not like salt air on the roads basically in LA, right? I guess if you were in Santa Monica or something, but yeah, there was never any rust on it or anything. It was like as clean of a car as you could possibly imagine, you know.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I know, like electric car people. Yeah, there's certain states that those are the ones that your odds of getting because yeah, all those things rot out cars that are 40, 50 years old. That whether it's the
Well, and
metal
in
or
Norway,
just
he
all
was
the rubber
saying
fittings, all that shit.
that's it. I was like, so why are you buying this Volvo here in California and not in Norway? And he was like, oh, just rust. And he was like, basically in Norway, they've all rusted to shit basically over the last 40, 50 years because the roads, I don't remember if they're salted or what, but long story short, they look like that. They're snowy and ice and everything else, and probably salted roads, honestly. So the cars fall apart. Whereas in, beautiful California, the car was in a garage all, all the time. So like never any sun, da 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 da. Yeah, perfect. It's kind of comical. To this day, I'm so surprised by it. But I mean, it makes sense, right? But it's still surprising to me. This is the old shitbox Volvo. But my dad would have been so happy. He fucking loved those old Volvos. He always had either Volvo. I don't remember I don't even care about the old Volvos. I don't remember the model name. I guess the 240 is the station wagon. What was the sedan? I don't remember. Anyway, he always either had a sedan or a station wagon, and they were all old. He was never rich enough to have a new Volvo, but always like what 1970s, maybe a 1980 Volvo. Fuck.
Well, there's always been people into Volvos, and it's like that's sort of their style, Like
Yeah.
there's a
I mean, I
there's a
get it. They
style.
have a specific look. They have a kind of a, yeah, they have a vibe to them and everything. I always really liked Saabs. I'm glad I never bought one because they constantly were in the shop. Every friend of mine had always just paid a fortune for them, but I always had a thing for the whole look and everything. But yeah, so I get it. But
Well,
what
when
can I
I
say?
first got out of prison, didn't have a fucking car or whatever. It was like in the yeah, I had this Saab that it ran, but like Scott gave it to me, and yeah, I had it for a while till it wasn't like it broke or anything, but it was a weird car.
I like the hatchbacks, and I just always like the look of them driving down the street. They're really cool. And what they were four-wheel drive, I think. I can't remember now. Anyway.
Well, I mean, you get in a Volvo, put on a seatbelt. It's not like something all that, but like for a longest time, it's not. It's in the top safest cars as far as like getting in an accident or some shit. I'm like, yeah, well, it's not like, oh, it's got all this design, but somehow the design it has, yeah, it's safe. I mean, safer.
Mhm.
Oh, this is
Thank
good.
you, sir.
See, I like the I-95 and the Larry. Yeah, we ran a few cycles and never met the criteria to scale it up. So yeah, I think this is, I don't have any more going, the last of it. And wasn't it was ever bad. The smoke and the weed is, yeah, that's why it was big at that time. But the bag appeal, whatever, all the other things, oh, it didn't meet those.
Huh.
The trimmers, like, yeah, they wouldn't have went with that. You had to like trim it to make it look anything.
Hammer
But
time.
back in the day, then yeah, weed was so valuable or coveted, or yeah, that was bomb. That was the top shit. Like it wasn't like today where everything's like this fucking Instagram photo. Some of the best strains didn't look all that, but they were good weed, and people still wanted it. Where now today, weed like that, yeah, no.
Nailed
Have
it
you ever,
first time.
I realize now, I'm sorry to interrupt you for a second, but hardcore, I hope you can hear me. Have I ever told you about this one channel that I guess I haven't followed him lately, so don't quote me if he went fucking, I know he's like kind of a Bible thumper, so don't quote me if he went nuts, but he has a cool channel from way back when, the Samurai Carpenter. Have you ever heard of that one on YouTube? Oh, he might not be able to hear us.
I don't think he's hearing us. He's
I
too
have
busy.
not.
Oh,
Oh.
hear you.
Go check him out. Like I said, I haven't followed him in the last couple of years, but I really liked him. I started watching him because he was all into Japanese saws and chisels and stuff. I think I probably Googled one time like Japanese saw or some shit, right? And basically found his channel. Anyway, he's also into a bunch of homesteading and whatever the fuck. But yeah, I think now he's way less into the whole Japanese too. Now he's just more into homesteading and stuff. But kind of a fun channel. I think you'd kind of like his vibe. Again, he may have gone, for all I know, he may have gone batshit crazy in the last couple of years. But
So I got a
I
question
remember he was
about
chill.
what you're doing. So obviously you're like scraping off the little bit of snow or ice. Isn't it
And
just going
trying
to
to
come
grind the
back when the
process.
next fucking and you have to keep doing that?
Well, I've
We're
got to
gonna
put.
start.
I just sheeted the strip. I just put this OSB, this plywood stuff up here, and sometimes when I get lazy and I just don't measure things and I run along like
And why
this.
does it look like the ladder's upside down? Like I'm trying to get this perspective. Oh, I
It is
see.
upside
Sorry.
down.
Oh,
I just have
okay,
it
you're
ripped off.
hanging. You're
I've got a
like on
little.
a roof vertical. I can't tell if it's flat or.
Kind of
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
on a
this,
roof.
bud.
Oh,
And
that's
here's
dangerous, dude. You're on the
and the
fucking
lady's
ice.
like
You know how
this.
easy you're gonna slip.
Yeah, well,
That's
I'm a
why he has the
roofer.
ladder. That's why he has the
I
ladder
should
like
be
that,
tied
though,
off. I
bud.
have another rope here that is my tie-off rope. Um, that'll be handy when I go and
Well,
When
pay
I'm
attention
gonna
to what
come
you're
back up
doing.
here with
I
my
don't want to
saw.
see you fall and break your ankle
Yeah, break your neck. Don't
over
want that.
some like what? How much thickness of snow is that? Like a
Oh,
little
this is
bit?
just a dust thing. There was like 3 inches on it yesterday. I just sweeped it off yesterday too, but I didn't think it was
Oh,
gonna
because
snow
that's
overnight.
like particle board that hasn't been sealed, and you're trying to
Yeah, yeah,
protect it. I got
yeah.
it.
I don't because like even though it's not gonna get above freezing, the sun itself can melt it,
Mm.
and I don't want it getting wet. And the roofing or the inspector for the framing was supposed to be here today, but I guess he's not gonna be here till Tuesday.
And now that it started snowing, most likely you have months where you're gonna have a pack of like it's snow, right? It's not like oh, a couple days will be back. No, snow's there for a few months.
Yeah, it's gonna be here for good, I think now. It might
I
it
mean,
might warm up next
more or
week,
less.
but yeah, no, like I say,
And
my next
so
step is I gotta put
when
drip
you
edge on
drive
here.
around, do you have chains? Do you have special tires, or what? How does it work?
You just learn how to drive.
Oh,
I
squirrely.
do.
So it's squirrely.
Yeah, I got smoked the other day when I was in St. Cloud, which is kind of a bigger city. I mean, it's like maybe 60,000 people or something like that. But I got there right when it was the first like snow of the season, and it went from snow, and then it warmed up enough to where everything turned to glare ice. And I was driving right downtown, and I mean, like a really busy like 2-lane downtown street or whatever, and it stopped at a stop sign. Like a Range Rover came fucking. I could see him in my rearview mirror from like 100 feet away, probably just doing 360s, and he just hit me like a bumper
Yeah, I
car.
just remember I wasn't really in charge of it, but I helped going up to certain places, friends or family. Yeah, you get so far, then you have to pull over and somehow put chains on the fucking tires. I was like, I always thought, God, there got to be a better way than chains on the tires. But
Yeah, no, around here they do. I mean,
Well,
we don't chains aren't legal on the highway, so I mean,
yeah, because
you
that must have
I don't
like
even.
really tore up the fucking highway, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like a lot of
the
tractors and
snow's
stuff.
there, but
Like a lot of tractors and stuff will have chains on, but like I've never had chains on one of my trucks before. 4x4 is
but
usually
it
enough.
works, right? Like I've been in cars and stuff where, yeah, once you had the chains on, it was pretty steady.
Oh yeah, no, they work when you need them, but I used to have them on my 3-wheeler in the winter, but
We
I
don't.
switched out the front wheel and put skis on it from a snowmobile. That was pretty sweet. Little Honda.
Now, are you a snowmobile? Like, do you snowmobile, or you have one, or you've had one, or what?
I've had them before. I don't have one right now.
Those seem
It
cool.
hasn't had enough snow here for years.
Hmm.
No, I have to get up here to saw off a couple boards. This one and then the one on the other end there. It's overhanging.
Well, I mean, isn't there a window of when building season ends because of this?
No,
Oh, because you guys are
for
used
some
to it.
crews. Yeah. No, I've framed houses in 30 below, 20 below. Usually after 20 below, you go inside or you stop, or you just do indoor jobs and shit.
Yeah, I feel
You
bad
know,
even
plus, I
for
mean,
the
like I
guys.
just want to get this off of here so it doesn't want to freeze and turn to ice a little bit. Because otherwise, if it turns into this and like if it just melts enough to where it doesn't quite actually turn to water, but it just like, and then it gets cold again, then it like turns into like ice. You
Well,
can't.
and then wait, for every thickness of it, that's more weight, right? So the next thing you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and
in this
we
huge
don't have
thing.
like this thing is wobbling around right now too, like Jello because I don't have all the I should have had a lot more braces in there, but I ran out of lumber, and I just don't have the fucking my sheathing on my gable end, so it's all fucking flop around like Jello. But I'm used to it, so you'd probably be freaking out up here. You'd be on your hands and knees going, "What are you
Well,
doing?"
when I was younger, I was fearless, but now that I'm older, I'm like, nope, nope.
I
I
keep
know like
mine
my
way out
limit.
in the
Like,
house.
nope, nope. I've been lucky. I haven't had like any mistakes, even though I'm an idiot and a stoner. Uh,
But this plywood,
but
this
I
OSB,
definitely don't want like a couple of my friends had things happen, and when you get to be like 60, oh, a little thing like that isn't as easy. You
this
don't
OSB, it's
heal. Your bones don't heal. It's yeah.
when it's dry, like when it's dry, it's like because it's never, this stuff is frozen or it hasn't gotten above freezing. This stuff is just powder and it's just brushing right off.
Well, it looks like, yeah,
Yeah. I'm not even tied off right now. I just got, as long as I'm on the
well,
peak like
time
this,
means
I got
everything with that stuff, right? Because how overnight it can melt and then turn to ice, and then that's a whole different thing, right?
Yep. And this, I'm not so much worried because the temperature's not going to get hot, but just the overnight it's actually colder. But during the day, if the sun hits it too so much, like I can see on the neighbor's roof, see how that's black over there, and there's water puddled on it because that black gets above freezing.
So wait, that is your neighbor's house. It's
It's an
like
apartment building.
square and long. It's like,
Yeah. Like even this roof, you can see how the snow has melted off the black part.
well, I
I
mean,
don't know.
some people spend money like that on their place and have metal roofs. But out there,
yeah,
that's
I've done a
kind of
lot of
probably the
steel roofs.
best way, right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of steel roofs, but they're spendier in the initial cost or whatever, and they're louder if you don't insulate your roof
But
that much.
but they last a long time if they're done right. Like,
Now I'm actually getting on my hands and knees. But when I come to saw this piece off right here, I'm gonna tie myself off with this electrical cord and put phone in my pocket so I don't die. But
Jeff asks a good question. Why not use a leaf blower?
it's too wet or it won't. I tried my air compressor hose already with the blower on it, and it didn't do shit. So I got to do it manually.
That's what she said.
It sticks to this
Yeah.
OSB just so much that
Self-acquired. You all need to acquire.
but yeah, but then like once the framing inspector comes, because I can't put my underlayment, what it's called, on top of the roof yet. Like go over it with this special sheets of plastic shit that for water or whatever. But I can't put that stuff on until he comes and inspects the roof to make sure that my frame or my nails are all in the right spots and shit. So I don't want this snow on here by then, because on Tuesday, the second he leaves, I'm gonna fucking put that underlayment on here, because then I can fucking, I don't got to worry about it. It could be months before I shingle and it won't fucking get wet or won't ruin anything. But
just the look of it, it's like I'm looking at a model, and there's like this idyllic neighborhood of these like houses in the snow. It looks
yeah, if you
pretty
can,
cool.
I don't know if you can see, but there's a lake, right? Let me
Well,
zoom
that
in.
thing with those three things, at first I kept thinking they were like old midgets standing there.
You can just see between there is where the lake is. You see a little
Is
bit
it
past it.
frozen, or does it get ice on top?
It's just starting to freeze. I'll show you here in a couple minutes after I.
Now, you're probably the guy that tests the waters. Like, oh, it may be frozen enough. Let me walk out there and check, right?
I'm not that guy, no. That guy will be out there pretty soon, though. It's not yet, because I don't think that's like the ice forms where I don't know. I'll have to show you in a moment. I mute myself.
But for a part of the season, that's just going to be an ice skating rink.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Well, yeah. Well, it's only an ice skating rink where they plow off the snow, but it's a big.
But it's
a big-
frozen over.
it's a
Like,
big- yeah,
you can
yeah, yeah,
ice
it's a big
fish.
community.
Do you ice fish?
I have. I used to. I might just get a what do they call it? A house license, a fishing house license to just have a fishing house out there, though.
I
'Cause
mean,
it's like
okay,
it's a
yeah, you
community
are
out there.
fishing and all, but it seems like I've seen things on that. It's like more of a like doing a sweat lodge or like different thing, like different.
Oh yeah, it's hanging
because
out in the fish house. Yeah, you don't
yeah,
get
it
any
seems
stuff there.
like, and those places are like they're pretty minimal, right? It's just like shelter, right?
Well, it depends.
Yeah,
Like,
it's how decked out you want it.
yeah, I mean, you can get one that's fucking $100,000 if you want.
Yeah.
How do you move it if it's that big? How do you move it around? You need a whole bunch of people.
Well, no, the big
Snowmobile.
fancy, you know, talking. The big fancy ones fucking have like pneumatic
Heaters and
lifts
shit.
and shit.
And if and don't forget
Well, the
too, if you're
fancy one
really
have full
close,
bathrooms and fucking big screen TVs and shit.
and it depends too,
Yeah.
but if you're like close to where the water is, some people just use like their ATV or a snowmobile and they'll pull it right onto the ice.
Well, and some
Well,
people
that's
must
the
just use like some form of like a tent, right? Because it's easier to transport.
Yeah, that's what they start out with. Like the first people that start fishing, they have what they call pop-up, where it's just like a little, basically a little
Well,
tent
like the
that
things
pops
I
up.
saw, it seemed like, oh, they had that, but part of their thing was like to suffer. Like, oh, they were fucking outside sitting there fucking in what looks like a fucking blizzard, but they were doing it. Like, and that was part of the whole thing. I was like, yeah, those conditions don't look like friendly. Oh, they didn't give a fuck. Like that was like the harder it is, that was like part of the thing to the people that are into doing that. Like I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
Holy shit! Wait till you guys see this picture. Here on this picture of a ice shack right now. And Bud's gonna be like, "Holy fuck!"
Well, I've seen them on TV or whatever. I've never seen one. Like nowhere down here. Well, we have lakes in my tree, but nah, I don't think.
Nice.
Maybe there's some
That's
ice
crazy.
fishers somewhere, but I've never seen them.
That's like your
Oh,
top of
well,
the
that's like
line
a fucking RV
fancy.
trailer fucking house with the thing opened up. Like
Uh,
now, you don't just push that around. That's going to take some fucking
This is your mama's
muscle to
shack
get.
right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Shit like that.
You can
And
in
other
here in
thing seems
Canada.
like,
What's wrong with
now
that,
you're
honestly?
bossing too hard.
Here in Canada, we just build a lot of the ones that can build their own, but they'll just use like what's it called? Plywood. Plywood, just a
I've
simple
built
plywood
several of them.
build with shingles.
Yeah, but weight's weight, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so the,
But that's when you use like an
Look at this
ATV.
fucker.
Well, no, when the ice gets thick enough, there'll be on Christmas Day or something, or Christmas weekend, there might be
Wow.
1,000 people.
what are
And
all
then
those
there'll
schools?
be 500
So
vehicles too,
those
500
holes are
pickup
the
trucks.
ice fishing holes.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Oh,
spools is
so
for the fishing
oh,
line. It's probably not even on
uh,
rods.
that's a trip,
I
dude.
don't even know.
I
See
guess
here,
that'd be fun. Like that'd be like partying in a hotel room,
I know,
right?
right?
Yeah.
see here, it's just starting to freeze, but the wind is coming this direction, so all this shit's just like broken ice on the shore.
Hmm.
But like here's some ice that's starting to stick. I'm sure you can maybe walk out on it. You want to get your feet wet.
Now, somehow fish stay alive and then next season they come back thrive, like underneath it,
Cold water is
frozen.
actually higher in nutrients, so fish actually do pretty well. So, for example, like under the Antarctic ice sheets and stuff is actually among the richest feeding grounds for fish, believe it or not.
And they got
Is
plenty of
that a
oxygen.
kayak?
All the plants, you know, are filling it with the water with oxygen.
Now, what do people do with this lake? They fish in it, water ski, or all that, or no?
Yep. Yep. Well, they pretty much they pay massive amounts to have land on it because this is a kind of ritzy town. Fucking, but there's 21 miles of lakeshore on this one lake, like
Wow.
9 miles long. We're just at the end of it, like it curves around that way and goes forever.
So you grew up here, or you spent time here, so you've checked out the whole lake.
Yeah, I've had family that has been here since 30s. My grandpa used to be a veterinarian for this town. It's a small town. It's like 3,000 people maybe, but they've got three
Yeah,
steakhouses.
one thing I noticed, like, there's no signage or anything. Like everything's just buildings.
There's a place in Newfoundland, where my ex-girlfriend used to live, and they were their own town. And there was only like 3 houses in the town. And it was like the town was 5 people.
Technically, Long Beach, Minnesota, is a town that right there. Though, like it goes from there to there, like maybe a half a mile long or a mile long. And I don't even think there's a fucking like a
Fun.
town sign on the edge of town.
Well, okay.
Technically, that's
What
farmland.
qualifies as a town? Like to me, one, oh, do you have your own post office? Oh, you don't have a post office. I don't know. You might just be an area.
I know I don't know. There's a lot of little towns around here though. Like every direction, there's a
Yeah.
little town like 200 people or 100 people.
Well,
Nimrod, Minnesota, is population 69.
Town settlement that is smaller than a city but bigger than a large village.
My town, we're a town now, but way back in
This
the day,
town
we used
ain't big enough for
consider
the three of us, motherfucker.
back in the day our town used to be considered a village.
okay, but like, what infrastructure it's like had to come with it in that, or just it's just a people? I mean, like
Well,
you
I
have
think
your
that
own
in the
grocery store,
US,
you have
town
this,
is
you have that.
I think town is unofficial, but I think in
Yeah.
Europe it's more official because it seems to come from the German and Dutch. But I
Right.
think here it goes from here, I'll look it up in the US.
Well, in my imagination of it or whatever, you think, okay, a town would mean that you can survive in your town. Like, oh, there's enough things in your town. If you live in a place where don't have any like thing to get, you got to go to somewhere else. That's the town. You live in the hills. You know what I mean? Some places I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this qualifies as a town. It's just
Town
people's
counts in
house.
the US.
There's no store. There's no anything. No, we go over here.
So a city in the US is a permanent and densely settled place with administratively defined boundaries. It has a higher population, greater geographical area, and more developed infrastructure compared to a town or a village. At what point does a town become a city? In the US, the transition from a town to a city is determined by state law. Typically, a town can become a city when it meets certain criteria, such as having a larger population, greater economic development, and the approval of the local governing body. So, in other words, they decide themselves, I guess, that it's a town or a city.
Well, my old house for 10 years was in Duluth. It quite considers that. No, everything with Fallbrook way was with the post office of this, the store. There was nothing there. So I never thought it was anything. There's people that think it is like town, but how can it be a town if there's not even anything? Not
Yeah, this
like
town's
there's
got
not
a
even a place to buy a candy bar. Like that's not a
place
town.
it's a ghost town in the winter too. Like, see, there's the first person I've seen at a house, um, on a lake here. All these lake houses, this is like these are just little cabins right here. But like, it it starts to get to the ritzy thing. Like, most of this lake is like $1 million homes for like 21 miles worth of lakeshore. But the people, it's like $1 million homes that people only live in for like 2 weeks of the year.
Because they're like, what do they call it? Snowbirds and shit. They just
Yeah.
leave the area because it's
There's some snowbirds, there's a bunch of birds.
well, in our area, there's these RV play temporary. I don't know. They're kind of cool. A lot of them have like amenities. And yeah, during the winter, yeah, we call them snowbirds. They come from a lot of different places, but yeah, and they have a bus, a thing, whatever, and they come and live there for like a few months, and then they go back, like they're snowbirds.
Yeah, we got those here in Canada.
I've
Um,
met people like that, and because yeah, that's right down there. There's multiple ones of it. It's like a RV park or somewhere. They're usually like, oh, there's other people that dwell there locally,
Sarasota, Florida.
like, and don't ever leave. And that's like sometimes the shady part of the place. I usually stay out of those places. But no, a lot of them, like in the certain months, are packed full, and they're like snowbirds there.
My sister-in-law's, what would it be, brother-in-law? Anyways, his parents every year they're Dutch and they fly to or they drive to Arizona every year. And then they
Yeah,
stop.
Arizona has snowbirds too.
Yeah. They love
Oh,
it there.
they flock to a bunch of different places. You know that
Yeah.
place they like? It's out by Green Fingers called. It's like this lawless encampment thing. I forget what it's called. It's been going on for years. It's like concrete jungle. It's crazy out there, right? I saw this thing about it started with snowbirds that Cayman places. They have like old footage of these, like they weren't freaks or anything. They were from wherever, and they would go there. Um, that was the beginning origins of what became the. Oh, I forget what it's called. It's crazy though.
Not a hot pepper. Oh Jesus! I
It's
can't
all
believe
rich people stuff
that.
here.
But it's popular because I saw this other thing where, I mean, they're like basically sheds. It's like whatever. There's one guy that has like what do you call it, Airbnbs because people are curious and just want to go there for a couple days. So he built these things in the water and whatever. You can go check out the like. Yeah, there's a lot of tweet. It's a crazy thing. There's no law there. It's like their own fucking thing. They concrete way is called the because the military at one point built these pads and all this structure for something and then abandoned it. And they kind of like and it's out in the middle of the desert. So there's certain people there that leave when it's like 130 degrees for whatever weeks. But there's no water. It's just like this whole thing. It's roughing it. Streets or no, like it's and there's these people that have been there for like 20 years. This rent free, whatever. They have their own little craziness going on. It's called that. God, weird name. It's the name of whatever the pads were or whatever. Because it was the military that built this whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Oh,
New poll in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to let your mom know because she likes
That was
poll. We're asking Turkey Day because, of course, tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Questions are all the fixings with gravy. Not enough space there for me to write cranberry. What do people love? Green beans, usually for some reason, marshmallow casserole. Anyway, a bunch of weird shit too.
all the
But for
sides.
the rest
Like
of it, I just kind of
there's
love
like
minute
endless
respect.
sides. Every family had their own
Yeah,
shit,
right.
and a lot of that shit's all fucking killer.
That's it.
And it
Second
only
option,
really
no,
gets
I'm
made and
anti-turkey.
eaten now. Like it's not like, oh, let's have that in whatever year month. Nope. It's like well, a lot of that stuff is good that because of that. It's not like, oh, if you ate that all the time, then would like cranberry sauce would just be fucking like nothing. But oh, once a year, oh, it's fucking bomb as fuck.
I like a good cranberry sauce though, but I make it from scratch though. I make it from the actual
Wow,
cranberries
yeah.
with a little bit of orange peel, some cinnamon. It's good shit.
But over the years, like I realized that even the last couple of days, like especially this holiday, like you never really hear them report like Christmas where they go, but like how much money and the people spend. Here, it's not on gifts; it's on food. Like, like, oh, they sell a shitload of food for like a week, like a lot. Money's worth. The turkeys, the potatoes, the this, the that, are like that only gets sold then. They do a lot of business for this holiday and a lot of the holidays. 4th of July. Oh fuck the stores. That's when they're killing it, dude. All the holidays. Some bigger than others. Thanksgiving. Oh, it's straight massive amount of food. I mean, there's always a couple frozen turkeys in there, but oh, now every fucking where you look, the fucking freezer full of turkeys, but not the rest of the year. Only now. Like most people only make a turkey now. They don't go, oh, I like turkey. I'll make it in July.
not here. Mrs. B's family is not like that at all. They'll do turkey, ham, roast beef, even any of the seasonal things any time of the year. It's
Mm.
awesome.
I mean, what's wrong with roasting a turkey? Shit, what's wrong with roasting a
That's my
turkey
favorite thing.
in the
Like
middle of the summer?
when
Fuck
I
it.
had people at my house, I'd make two turkeys because what I really wanted was real turkey meat to make sandwiches, just bread, mayonnaise, and turkey. And oh, you can't buy that turkey from any of the fucking places, like it's whatever. But that's simple to make. And oh, if you do a whole turkey, you have sandwiches for a while. It dries out,
Cheers,
you gotta
everybody.
protect it. But that's the best part of turkey, not the fucking hot turkey.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I would buy a turkey
I'd say it's
in
all good.
random times because not only when I had a lot of dogs, oh, I take the white meat and that, but like the rest of like all that, the turkey, um, was cheaper than any dog food,
Hmm.
right? When you took the unders and this and the fuck. Wait, I gotta take this call. It's Abu Dhabi calling.
Well, actually, we just missed the 20. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we might actually wrap up here in a second. It's a fun discussion, honestly. What was I going to say? Uh,
I want turkey. Thanks a lot,
I know,
bud.
right? We've been talking about turkey. I'm like, oh, fuck, I want turkey too. It can be. I was actually going to say, remember, folks, because we have a lot of different folks that listen to the show. Some folks have big families, some folks don't. So please remember, folks, that it can be a challenging time, but we'll all get through it, hopefully. Just because you don't get a chance to eat turkey or have some gravy or get yelled at by your family or whatever doesn't mean you missed out. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see each other on the other side of this and have more shows and everything. It can be a difficult time, the holiday season, for a lot of folks. So please do remember, and certainly we're not trying to make fun of anybody if they're not having turkey or if they are having turkey or whatever else. Salt and Sea Seeds in the house. I bet Salt and Sea Seeds is roasting his own fucking turkey. He's always doing some crazy thing. Best part of it is Salt and Sea Seeds will probably start roasting his. He's a man after my own heart. I swear to you. He'll probably start roasting his turkey at like 11 p.m. Something like that. I remember one year I made my turkey. I think I started the turkey at 8:30. We didn't eat until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Holy fuck.
Fuck off. But there weren't any kids or anything there, Anyway, fuck was I gonna say? I can't remember what else I was gonna say. Anyway, let's see how the poll is doing here. So far, we have 12 votes. Majority is for all the fixings with gravy. 8% still are no, I'm anti-Turkist. 8% recognize or at least just thought it was funny. The Sopranos reference. Turkey sandwiches are like speckle. And at least a couple people are Canadian because they say, I'm Canadian, the goose is loose. You guys do Sunday roast every week, though. The Brits are a little bit lucky. They get basically a Thanksgiving dinner pretty much every single Sunday. They get what, a lot of times turkey, but a lot of times it'll be like a ham or what else? Roast beef roast with what? Sure, puddings, surprisingly light gravy. The Brits are into such a light gravy. It's probably influenced by the French, I guess. But I'm always surprised by how for our standards, like watery gravy. Literally, it's very. I mean, I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's very, very different gravy than we're used to in the U.S. Fuck was I gonna say? It's almost like a demi-glace compared to a fucking gravy. But what else? Roast veg, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. What else? I'm missing it. Potatoes. So it's pretty substantial. And yeah, they do it right every single Sunday, I guess. I don't know if every family does it every Sunday, but
Oh my god.
I've certainly not been like Facebook friends over the years with a bunch of guys every single Sunday. They're super religious. With this one guy of mine, a friend of mine years ago, I was part of like a gaming group basically, and super cool older guy. He basically just didn't really cook the rest of the week. Although in fairness, I think he owned a business or something. But Sunday he was the guy on the what is he called, the hob. He was the man on the hob, I guess, and always made Sunday dinner for his family. Anyway, ladies and gerbils, maybe we'll wrap it up here. I'll end the poll here
I
and
need to go eat.
officially calcify the results for all time. Oh, look at that! Somebody voted right at the very end there. Right. expression right before the bell. I can't remember the expression right now. All the fixings with gravy, 66%. By the way, did we ever talk about the Tyson fight on this show? I don't remember.
No.
No? Like, did people watch the fucking Tyson fight?
Yes.
It was like sad. It was like elder abuse, and I don't even know. It was the weirdest shit in the world. Even the announcers were like, "This is sad." Like, it was not exactly what I was expecting. Of course, what was anyone really expecting? It was supposed to be an exhibition fight, right? But I was sort of not expecting that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, glad it was free. I'm glad people didn't have to pay for Jesus Christ. I remember all the times people would pay like $200 for a fight and the
Yeah.
fight would be over in 30 seconds. Mike already knocked out before the commercial break.
No, people used to get pissed.
Go ahead, D.
That was
What were you
crazy.
saying?
Oh, dang, yeah, that used to be crazy. I know people that did that.
Apparently that was kind of his style too, because he didn't really have a lot in the tank, so he would gas out basically throughout the rounds. So if he didn't knock someone out in the first couple 3 rounds, he might actually lose the fight. Interesting. Anyway, uh, what did J5 say here? What did Hardcore Stat say he was trying to show? I don't remember. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to start saying our good afternoons. Bud is still off, so maybe we'll give it another second here before we bounce so that we can say goodbye to him. But a little bit. You know what? Bud's probably going to be on for a while because it's probably his good friend out there in Abu Dhabi. So maybe we'll just say our good afternoons and happy Thanksgivings and all that. What do you think, D?
Yeah, man. I gotta
Oh,
get some food after all this turkey talk.
sweet. Let's do it. Hardcore, you want to go first? You're in the most precarious position after all.
Bent over and leg spread.
That's right. That's the way.
You
See
probably
y'all later. Be safe.
you too, hardcore man. Stay safe up there, buddy.
That's right. Cheers, bud. So Bud Kilowatt, I think, is going to still be busy. So we're going to just say goodbye for him. He wishes everyone happy Thanksgiving. And of course, what does he always say? Fuck, I can't remember what he always says. Listen to the music.
Music.
None of that. Yeah, exactly that.
It's all about the music, dude.
That's it. That's exactly it. And I guess smoke more. What is he smoking lately? Cheetah piss or something? I can't remember. Anyway, smoke more weed, smoke more ganja. That's what Bud says to everybody. And also happy Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving back to Bud and all that kind of stuff. And hope he has a good one. Off to you, D.
Cheers. Thanks, Troubadour, like always, for putting this together. Thanks, everybody in chat and the panel for coming and hanging out. Don't forget to tune in Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Pacific with the pre-show before that on my channel. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Keep your stick on the ice and don't be a hoser. Or you can take off, eh? So take off.
Nice. Right on, D. Good to see you, my friend. Salton Sea Seeds is saying the Black Knight's Delight is smelling amazing, kind of like Jack and chocolate. I'm glad to hear about it. That chocolate is definitely from the old cuvee. I've had a couple of the Sour Morganas pop out surprisingly chocolate. I was like, what year is this? Right? Like the old Robin Williams meme where he's all the fucking he looks like a caveman. In fact, it was from the Caveman movie. I can't think of the movie right now. Anyway, regardless, it's an old fucking meme, but it'll work.
It was a perfect fruiting.
That's it. Thank you, D. But long story short, it's really kind of funny to see the old, the grandparents basically pop out their genes basically down the road. But that's how genetics work. Ladies and geraniums, I think we're going to call it happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Joseph Anthony, and of course the rest of you folks. DGC Jeff says nothing to do but smile, smile, smile. There you go. That's a good thought, my friend. Dr. Leave You Alone says, don't let your turkey loaf. Who else in here? J5's hanging with us. Mad Dog's hanging from the UK. Southern Vermont Vintage. He's saying, well, Southern Vermont. Don't be down on yourself, my friend. It's an oversight, I'm sure. Go get the cheap turkeys after Thanksgiving. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a cheap turkey after Thanksgiving at Costco when they basically close them out and fucking roast the thing in my new place. Super annoying. The old owners of my new place like still want more time. So I'm like the guys out. Oh, whatever. We don't have to get into details. But so they don't want to like whatever. It's not my place officially. It is my place officially, but they're still fucking with it until Friday. So whatever. So I guess I'll roast a turkey this weekend. That way I can say I made my first Thanksgiving in my own place. Anyway, ladies and geraniums, we're gonna bounce here, I think. Don't forget to have a good time, like I said, and whatever you guys do, even if it's eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I hope you guys have a good one. Don't forget that yeah, even these kind of virtual holidays, there's a lot of pressure on people and stuff. It can be a difficult time if you're alone and so on. So don't forget, this too shall pass. We'll get on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be fine. You'll have the takeover on Saturday. It'll be amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. But in the meantime, and also don't overspend on Black Friday. Come on, folks. Don't buy stuff
Yeah.
that's marked up like 137% 3 days ago, and then they mark it down for Black Friday, pretending it's a sale. Fuck off. Or rather, they marked it up to 137%, and basically brought it down to 100% 3 weeks before. I can't remember exactly how they do it. I'm actually kind of babbling right now, but my point is that on Black Friday, usually you're not getting a good deal anymore. It's very rare to get good deals, honestly. When you look around, you can get some, I suppose, but for the most part, you're paying for schlock. So folks, don't feel compelled to overspend. We're gonna bounce, ladies and germs. Be kind, be decent, be gentle, be fucking pricks, dicks, or lunatics. And until we meet again, my friends, thanks for hanging. Cheers, D, as well. And even though you're not card-carrying American, happy Thanksgiving, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to you as well, D. Thanks very much for hanging, everyone.